This little video is to help empower us all as to what we might do here during this tremendous and very heartbreaking situation with the Gulf of Mexico and its implications for all planetary existence, actually. We are all very empowered to do a number of small things that have very big ramifications and amplifications. So every single one of us, should we feel so moved, can take responsibility of these things that I'd like to share with you. The first is bless every drop of water. Every drop of water that you drink, that you use in your kitchen sink, your bathroom sink, and your toilet. Bless every body of water that you pass, whether you're walking, you're driving, you're riding a bike. Bless every stream that you know where it is, even give it a name or call it by name. And as we bless these things, let us understand that our words, in the way of Dr. Emoto's work from Japan, that these words are words of power, that this information goes out telepathically and in resonance to water, and water is a very resonant medium. It receives our thought, it receives our emotion, it receives our intention of well-being for water. And in addition to blessing and reminding the water that it is beautiful, that it is healthy, that it can be healthy. In addition to that, I think that we also have the ability to say, we're sorry. We're sorry. It's not just BP that is really responsible here. It is consumerism. It is consumption. And so we can all just take that in and feel our heart, and put our hand on our heart and say, yes, in fact, I do drive a car. Yes, in fact, I have plastics in my home which are made of petrochemicals. I have la 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 la. So we can take responsibility, we can acknowledge our own complicity, actually, in this whole thing. So we can bless every drop of water and remind ourselves to do that through the day. We can acknowledge our own acts of responsibility that are here by saying that we're sorry. And in saying that we're sorry, learning the ways by which each of us in our own home, in our workplace, etc., can save water, honor water, respect water. Number 2, we can all say good things into the mind stream of humanity. This is very important because when there are times of crisis, for even just a single human being, in a time of crisis, the emotional body of a human being goes through seemingly the most obvious and blatant factors of that time of crisis. We grow upset, sad, depressed, we are confused, we need help, we need consolement and comfort, and these kinds of things. So no matter what the situation is that we would consider a crisis on an individual basis, we know that our emotional body is front and center and seems to take the biggest hit. What happens for every individual, though, as that is happening, is that our mental body, in one respect, has the possibility of being clearer, because the emotional body that on an everyday basis is usually feeding our mental body and our mind stream with reactions and with desires and with attachments and things like this. But when our emotional body is itself in crisis or taking the brunt of a very extreme situation that we might be living or trying to sort out, then our mind stream has the possibility of being new and being interacted with new. So we all know when we've been through crisis, or we know someone that currently is, that on some days there's a numbness to that person, and they will speak on that. They say that they feel numb. On other days their emotions are front and center. So again, sadness, confusion, denial, things like this. But the point that I want to make, and I'm explaining in this way, is that humanity overall actually is right now entering into the fullness of this crisis. It has been the U.S. and its population, its citizenry, that of course has been feeling this, and of course front and center, and on the front lines of this are the people in the Gulf states, people in Louisiana and Mississippi. They barely are out of the muck, the mire, and the mold of Katrina, and of being not well aided, not well assisted, and not well remembered. On the heels of that, and on just trying to pick themselves up by their own bootstraps, since they weren't given too much else to work with, we have now this. So they are front and center in this immediacy of the human crisis and its mode, its internal mode. But when the mind has this ability to be felt and experienced and to think differently, because the emotions are going through their own very deep process, it means actually that the mind is rather plastic, rather like plasma even. And then and there is a time for new programming. So I would like to suggest to everyone, whatever is your favorite source of inspiring and wide, deep thought, that you take upon yourself and as a responsibility of a conscious person on the path, the spiritual path, as a human being on the path, that you take the responsibility to read something like that, recite it out loud, at least once a day. Those who have the freedom of their schedule and their time and feel like doing it more often than that, please do. I myself, I'm choosing to do that multiple times a day. And I am choosing to read from a variety of texts that are world scriptures, but that are inspiring. And certainly I am reading things that inspire me as well.